oh man, does it feel good to be a Bulls fan? We get to get into all the news and notes on the Chicago Bulls, pretty much where they're landing in the draft, who they could possibly land in the draft, and of course, looking at their chances in the playoffs. Look, we already know they have a spot in the play-in, but let's see how far the Chicago Bulls can go if they make it into the playoffs. Hello, my name is Isaias Jackson Jr. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Bulls Digest. We got to get into all the news and notes on the Chicago Bulls, but we got to tackle the elephant in the room real fast here. 67% of you guys aren't subscribed, while 32% of you guys are. And look, like I said, new face, not going to hound you, but look, we're crazy Bulls fans here. We love the Chicago Bulls. And we just need to find somebody on that exact wavelength. We think you might be that person. Look, just have fun with us. Enjoy the ride that we are on with the Chicago Bulls. Like, share, and subscribe, and let's have fun just talking about the Chicago Bulls and the great work that they've been putting in so far. And I mean, let's get right into it. The playoffs, man. Of course, the Chicago Bulls right now looking really, really well right now in the ninth seed. But of course, Mr. Optimistic here, and y'all gonna have to. I need a huge favor. I need you guys to reel me in a couple times. There's gonna be a couple times where I think I'm gonna be pretty much going off the rails here, just being a little too optimistic. You guys are gonna have to bring me back in a little bit. But I honestly love what the Chicago Bulls have been doing so far. Just looking at the great work that they've been doing over the last 16 games. 22 points off fast break points. They're first in the league in that. 57 points in the paint. They're first in the league in that as well. 122 points per game, second in the league. And look at all the great work that they did at a 5.9 net as well. They're eighth in the league as well. They've just been absolutely fire, and 11-5 on the season. The Chicago Bulls have been able to do no wrong. And even just look at the Lakers game. I thought going into that third, fourth quarter, there was a couple of turnovers, a couple of bad shots there, low IQ basketball shots that were taken at that time, where at that point in time, you needed to get back in that game. I thought that we were going to come in here absolutely struggling in the second half and then pretty much come away winding off with a stinker of a loss, but this was just absolutely unreal, and I still can't believe what we watched. And honestly, the Chicago Bulls are just they're on an absolute whirlwind right now. Everybody is playing to their position. They're playing to the roles that they needed to be. Josh Giddey came in, and even with the baggage that he had over him. We don't need to talk about it. But you know what Josh Giddey was going through at that time, and he comes in, struggled a whole lot in OKC, at the tail end of his tenure there, comes over, and it takes him a while to get through his progressions, but man, he looks like a monster. He looks exactly the way the Chicago Bulls need him to be, and he's going to be even better for years to come. So I think that's just the beauty in all of this. And of course, Kobe White, we've talked about him before. There's a video on YouTube just recently about him as well. Matas Buzelis, we've pretty much talked about him all throughout the past couple months. Even talking about how we just even wanted him to grab more minutes, when it was all said and done after that. After seeing him pretty much wither away on the bench for long periods of time. Look, this team is flowing, and you got to give credit where credit is due. I gave my critiques on Billy Donovan, but now, look, man, he is putting this team in a great position to win a lot of basketball games, and they're beating the stiff competition that you want them to beat. So, honestly, I think they're doing this at a perfect time because, of course, as I mentioned before, we got to get into the playoffs. Because right now, the Bulls, as I mentioned, that ninth seed, they're going to be taking on the Miami Heat, which I definitely think is going to be a good game for them to go through and win, get themselves, of course, moving forward into the play-in, and then finding their way into the Cavs or the Celtics. Now, if there was any other team besides the Cavaliers or the Boston Celtics, I would have been on this high horse left and right. The Bulls are going on a run. Screw that lottery pick. We don't know. Like, I would have been over the moon because I care about the success for the team. And there's a overabundance of amount of young guys on the team that can perform and can get you wins when you need to. You're seeing them right now. And so it is just a matter of whether you re-sign them or bring them back, who you also bring in as a supporting cast as well. Right now, this team is just on fire. They look amazing with the young guys there. I would have loved to have seen them go on a run. I could see them beating the Miami Heat. Of course, you still have above them is the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic. Now, I fully believe, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can agree to the sentiment that the Chicago Bulls are going to be in that seventh seed when it's all said and done. When the NBA season is over with, because when you look, even when you go through and you look at the rest of the schedule for the teams, you got the Atlanta Hawks. They taking on the Bucks, the Blazers, the Mavericks, Knicks, Jazz, Magic, Nets, 76ers, Magic. Little tough. That's a little tough there. Then of course you have the Magic, who we just seen them. They have to take on the Hawks at some point in time. The Kings, Clippers, Spurs, Wizards, Celtics, Pacers, and Hawks. Then of course you have the Bulls. They're taking on the Mavericks, Thunder, Raptors, Trailblazers, Hornets, Cavs, Heats, Wizards, and Sixers. And honestly, when you're looking at the Bulls here, I do think in that schedule, the only team you really have to be not really spooked, or the team that you really have to worry about is the Cavs and the Thunder, of course. Two teams that have just been dominating the league for the past couple years. No, the Cavs, I mean, they could have done a whole lot more, but of course injury and Donovan Mitchell not pretty much playing up to par when he needed to in the playoffs kind of led it to the Cavaliers' downfall in a couple occasions. But you're looking at the Chicago Bulls here, and you're seeing the great work that they're putting out throughout the year. Why can't they go on a nice run right here and sweep these guys, get to that seventh seed? Because I fully believe they're capable of. You know, the Atlanta Hawks, they are downers. They can let you down, and you always see them not necessarily being demoralized, but you see kind of the life, the air being sucked out of the arena in most of the occasions in some of their games. The Atlanta Hawks, when their highs are really high, but their lows are just abysmally low. So that's one thing that I really want to see in the Atlanta Hawks, how they tell the end of the season. I love the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic are they're a high flying team. They deal with their fair share of injuries as well, but that is a tough end of the season there. Just Celtics, Pacers, Kings, like even the Kings, even though they're not where they need to be right now, they can still do some damage as well. I can see the Orlando Magic coming through and struggling there. Then of course we got the Miami Heat, who have just been struggling for a while. I believe in their last 19 games, they're 7-12. So looking at the Miami Heat, who are at the 10th seed, 76ers, they got the Wizards, Celtics, Grizzlies, Bucks, 76ers, Bulls, Pelicans, Wizards. So I think we can all agree that the Bulls definitely have an easier path to just pretty much to the tail end of the season here. And I still believe that lands them at that 11th spot, which is no problem, 11th draft pick. And that's what we're gonna get into a little bit later on. But I still don't see no harm in that if they just called it quits and pretty much blew it up when it's all said and done, because you still have to worry about the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are still 2 games above the Chicago Bulls. So if the Chicago Bulls do go on an amazing run, move past the Phoenix Suns, then definitely you're looking at somebody a little bit different of who you're going to be drafting there as well. So just moving forward on pretty much the Chicago Bulls and what it takes for them to not only see what's going on for them in the playoffs, but also what's next for them in the draft as well. What's going on? What's that mean for draft implications as well? But of course, just looking forward, it says there's one thing's for sure. Atlanta and Orlando still have the highest likelihood of clinching the first round series for now. So Basketball Reference gives the Magic a 59% chance to make the playoffs, and the Atlanta Hawks a 66% chance as well. So as for the Bulls, they have a 37% chance, but you already know how they're playing. You already know they're hot. They're on fire. That can definitely change, of course. No problem at all. Which, like I said, I have no problem with. I'm 100% for what the Chicago Bulls have going on here. So right now, just looking at the 2025 NBA Draft Lottery Simulator, of course, it's on Takeathon. Updates every day, which is why this is one of the go-tos. The Chicago Bulls right now have the 11th pick, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine, because of course the person that you see on the crystal ball is Derek Queen of Maryland. Is where the Chicago Bulls is going to be pretty much looking at, pretty much going to be maneuvering their eyes to. And honestly, I love me some Derek Queen of Maryland. The only problem is, look, And I see a lot of people going back and forth with his height, 6'9", 6'10". It's just a matter of, look, brother, can you play defense? That's can you play defense? Because if you are going to be the guy that's going to potentially move us forward from Nikola Vucevic, then we gotta at least see some help on that defensive side, because I definitely think that's where Nikola Vucevic lacked in his game with the Chicago Bulls in that scheme. I think Derek Queen can help out a whole lot. I just want to see what that defensive pressure would look like for him. And just an athletic freak, though. Of course, you've seen the game winner that he had a couple weeks ago. Absolutely fire. The kid's a dog. So I definitely want to see how the Chicago Bulls fare and see where they land when this is all said and done. But honestly, I don't think there's anything to be too negative about when you're looking into the Chicago Bulls, because the Chicago Bulls are just so electric, and you're seeing the talented work that the starting five is even showing you, even after the injuries that have plagued the team after a little bit. The Chicago Bulls, aren't going to quit. They have, and I'm not going to say dog, but it's just a fighter mentality that you're seeing throughout this season. And so, of course, they're one of the hottest teams in basketball right now. They're the team to talk about, and it's no shock. It's no shock whatsoever. Now it's just a matter of how are you going to finish. I would have loved to came on here at first. I had this planned for an hour of just saying, okay, well, let's see what the Cavaliers and let's see what the Cavaliers do. And no, I'm sorry. If the Chicago Bulls run up to either the Cavaliers or the Boston Celtics, I do think it's wraps. I do not see the Chicago Bulls making it out the first round. I do see the Chicago Bulls making their way into the playoffs, though, whoever they match up with, whether it's the Hawks, the Magic, or the Miami Heat. I do think the Chicago Bulls can go on a great run, slide themselves into the playoffs. After that, definitely think we just got to keep praying. I definitely think it's just prayers after that, because it's just going to be a tough road ahead, when it's all said and done. But the Chicago Bulls are showing that they want to go on a run. They're showing you that this isn't the end, for this season so far. So, look, I'm ready. I'm ready to feel the ride that they take us on. So, let's see how the Atlanta Hawks, let's see how the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat finish off the season, because, they're going up against the Bucks. They're going up against the Pacers. Who's to say Tyrese Halliburton doesn't sit? Who's to say that they don't sit the Giannis Antetokounmpo? Who's to say that they don't go out and sit their stars, at the tail end of the season? When it's all coming up. So obviously that's gonna play some part in the games as well. So we just gotta wait and see, and hopefully we can say a whole lot of great things about the Chicago Bulls the more this goes on, because, man, I felt like it has just been ever since after the All-Star break, because, look, Buzelis, he disappointed me. I ain't gonna lie, he disappointed me with the dunk contest. I was literally hurt. After that, I totally forgot about it. I just completely forgot about what happened. But, of course, we all did. The All-Star game wasn't really what it needed to be, but I could go on that tangent later. So, look, I'm pretty excited to see what the Chicago Bulls have. I think the future is insanely bright. You have so many options. Do you re-sign Trey Jones, who's going to be a unrestricted free agent? There's so much, and so many decisions that needs to be made for the Chicago Bulls. And honestly, I could continue to go on to make video after video after video, going over different scenarios, and also just having fun with this as well. So let me know what is best for the Chicago Bulls in the comments. Do you want to see the Chicago Bulls go on a great playoff push or go on a nice playoff run, or do you just want to see the Chicago Bulls ended here? You already had your excitement. Look, just go out there, do your best, and let's just hope that we get still a solid draft pick, because I do think Derek Queen could be the future if the Chicago Bulls land him. So, look, thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's the second time I did that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Bulls Digest. Look, there's so many great content creators, not only on the Bulls Digest channel, of course, Rico, Shaq Barnes as well. They do great work here on this channel, but of course, the Digest channels throughout YouTube. So many other teams as well you could get involved with. So, look, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also, look, we're crazy fans as well. Just get crazy with us. Just get crazy with us, because, trust me, we're going to be on this high horse for a while if the Chicago Bulls keep this up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.